Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm a full-time artist. If you're new here, a quick introduction would be that I live in Bryson City, which is a small town west of Asheville in the mountains of North Carolina. I have an art studio and store right on Main Street where I spend a majority of my time, and most of my videos are about the day in the life of an artist and shop owner. I've never really shown the enormous project we undertook starting in 2018 to start my store journey, but this is what it looked like before it was mine. For years, most people saw a little house and attached store on Main Street as an abandoned, dilapidated building, but it always piqued my interest because, even though the building was in horrible shape, I could still see so much potential. In 2018, we had the opportunity to purchase the property as long as we promised not to tear it down. The most intriguing part for me was that both the house and the store had sat empty for almost 25 years and were time capsules dating back to the late 90s. Rain had been coming through the roof for years, but there were items still on the shelves from its previous life as a jewelry store, and filing cabinets that were still full of records dating back to the 1950s. I spent a lot of time researching and found out that the house had several owners over the years, but originally had been built in 1902 by the Hughes family. The Browning family purchased it in 1925, and after going through years of microfiche, I was able to find an article that described Mr. Browning's addition of the store to the front of his house in 1940. The house and the store eventually were purchased by Hazel and Bud Jacks, and that's when it became H&B Jewelers. There was a lot of history in those old file cabinets, and a few of my favorite pieces are a letter inquiring about a new watchmaker, handwritten accounting, and also the 1974 catalog that shows what you could have purchased at the store. I recently had a couple stop by that had come to town to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary, and they shared with me that they had purchased their wedding rings from H&B Jewelers in 1975. So they had probably purchased rings out of this exact catalog. I did keep a lot of the items to display in shadow boxes reflecting the history of the building, including the old address stamp, some watch fittings, and even the keys to the old jewelry cases. The project was a huge undertaking, and we've split it up into two phases. The store would be first, and then the house would be a much larger project later on. That's my husband Brett when we removed the entire roof system and had it re-engineered so that rainwater would drain to the front and not just at one point in the back. The house and store used to be connected by a door, but we had to put in a firewall between the two for code reasons. We also had to cut through the original concrete slab and dig out through the front wall of the store to add in a new sewer line and plumbing. I'm pretty sure that was my husband's least favorite part of the entire project. I didn't take a lot of video back in 2019, but our partner Jaime and his brother Eric were just starting their YouTube channel Perkins Builder Brothers at the time, and I filmed some for them, which is the only reason I have any video footage now. For the exterior of the store, because the brick and mortar were in such bad shape, we decided to apply a thin white stucco finish, also known as German schmear. It was definitely labor intensive, but it turned out great and has held up really well over the years. We also installed new windows and poured concrete windowsills. The entire interior of the store is wood that we acquired from an old mill that was closing at the time. Each piece of wood was processed and pre-painted before it was installed. For the floor, we left the original concrete and did a little refinishing, and then I sprayed the final floor with an acid stain, which helped to blend all of the inconsistencies. One of the most important touches for the finished store was the exterior sign. I knew that I wanted to paint it myself too, so I did a mock-up, and then we had a local shop make a black aluminum frame to size. Then we attached wood deck boards into the frame, and I painted the entire sign in our garage. It was a really exciting day to finally see it hung on the exterior of the building. One of the last big things that I wanted to add to the store was a bar and work area, so Brett and Jaime built that, and then I varnished the final top piece. I opened pretty quickly after that in 2019, and looking back, there wasn't a lot in my store. Now fast forward to today, and I still love coming to my space that functions exactly as I want it to. The past few weeks I've been showing my yearly store and studio reset, and it's finally time to show the entire space, how it functions, how it's laid out, and how I brought it all together. I've used every square inch of space in the store for my original art, prints, and included books and supplies that I love. The space is always evolving and changing. In the front of the store right now, I have small original pieces and smaller prints mixed in with puzzles and some of my favorite book titles. I hang as many original paintings as I can all the way up to the ceiling, and I'm constantly moving and changing those around as paintings sell and as I create new ones to showcase. On the wood shelves up front in the store, I have a mix of home items, small works, and gifts. I also paint on the tin shingles that we salvage from the house during our project so that people can take home an actual piece of history from the town that dates all the way back to 1902. A lot of my resetting the store this time was to try and come up with different ways to display the over 150 prints that I carry at any one time. I also have to find creative ways to display card sets, stickers, magnets, and pins. I have a section on local authors that I try to keep stocked with local books, and one of my favorite authors is David Joy. His most recent book, Those We Thought We Knew, is a must-read, and it gives a lot of insight into our western North Carolina region of Appalachia. These boxes with the dividers are the newest addition for art print organization in the store, and so far they've been working out great. I also really like the layout of my new shelves, and I have a few new crates for originals as well. The store seems a lot bigger now. The ornaments and magnets are now in a new place in the store, and I also have flip stands for larger prints and the smaller shelves for card sets. As always, most of my own work is available in my Etsy shop, and if there are originals that you see in the store that aren't on Etsy, just contact me. Sometimes I go into long stretches where I forget to list items online. I do have a small section of art books, creative tools, and art supplies in the front of the store. I always wish I had room for more, especially being in such a small town where it's hard to find things on a whim. In the back of the store is, of course, my favorite part, my studio and work area. I have all of my paints and supplies on one side and up around the easel. On the other side of the paints are where I keep my laptop, chargers, and teapot. After spilling a drink on my laptop a year ago, I also have my laptop raised now, and my time machine attached underneath it so it's backed up daily. I also have photography lights set up for filming, and I'd like to show off my cord management, which is very important to me. Oh, and of course, I have to share my shop dogs, Max and Wookie, that come to the store almost every day. They love their little nook underneath the bar area. In the back of the store is a space I've never really shown before. It's where I keep additional stock and supplies organized. Behind that door, which is the original door to my store, is the bathroom where I keep cleaning supplies, and I also have hooks for all of my drying racks. And that's pretty much it. I love coming to my store and studio each day, and I often forget how far it's come. I looked on Google Maps and I found some way back photos starting in 2008. And the attached house took twice as long to renovate as the store, and I found letters and photos and their stories around all of it. If there's interest, I'll share all of that in the future. Right now it's a vacation rental and we named it after Hazel. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and if you want to see more, please like, subscribe, and comment to help me gauge interest and grow this channel. Thanks, and I'll see you next video.